Welcome back again. We are live here at Heavy Muscle Radio on this January 31st, 2022 evening, and I'm here with Lee Priest.
From Sydney, Tony saved $265 on comprehensive.
I think Lee. I thought the cops were coming to you, Lee, or something like that. They were going to break the door.
I just noticed that the speaker's turned on, so you're about to come out of my screen for a second.
I said the cops are there. They're going to tell them to hit the deck pretty soon. Isn't that how Dan Duchesne got arrested? Didn't they come and break down his door or something like that with the guns drawn?
No. Well, one time, the second time, yeah. I don't know how they did it the first time.
I always wonder why they do that with like people who are nonviolent, like criminals.
Protocol. It's the same for everybody.
I think they just like to do it.
Well, of course they like to do it. That's why they did the job in the first place.
John, were you living with him in '87?
Yeah, in that building, yeah. I was in the apartment in the front, and he was in the one behind me.
Okay, he had the 2-level place. I stayed with him for like 4 days or 5 days.
That was in San Diego.
No, Venice.
2 levels?
87.
Oh, he had that little sleeping loft upstairs. Yeah. Yes.
When he was with Trevelyan,
yeah.
Sure.
Train wreck.
You were probably petrified staying there, probably.
Well,
God. Mike Christian said that he wanted to put a beach chair on the front lawn and just watch the parade going in and out of our house.
I was very intimidated and scared to stay there.
What's that?
I said, was there that many people coming in and out of there?
It was just an endless parade of just odd people.
Misfits.
Yeah.
It was like the Christmas, the island of misfits. Like
yes.
I mean that's why.
He would have these female bodybuilders from obscure countries, come and.
Really? Like he was the original schmo. Yeah, he was the original.
No, Dave, John, it was like the that Christmas show, The Misfits. What was that little, Santa Claus is coming to town? A blend between that and Jerry Springer. But it was ahead of its time because it was 87, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would have been a great reality show. Probably.
That was the peak.
Peak of craziness.
That was the peak because Dan got arrested right after that.
I think right after I left.
Like 2 days later.
The weird thing was the stuff wasn't even controlled substances back then, right? Because it was before 90.
Well, yeah, but see that what happened was, his first one, it didn't have anything to do with the fact that it was Schedule 3. It was that he was importing large amounts of steroids from Mexico and selling them and they were still prescription drugs. It wasn't a fact that
Dave,
and he was doing mail order,
Right.
I asked him. When I got there, I was like obsessed, and I was like, Dan, I need a food scale. And he was so proud to show me that he had a food scale right next to a scale to weigh yourself. He said, so you can weigh yourself, weigh your food, and then.
What about you? Did he have a drug scale too there?
No, but he had
grams.
Triple beam.
He had like a scale that you stand on, and this is 87, and then it had like some wireless or something, so that it was like eye level. You didn't have to look down; you could just see what your weight was.
Oh, really?
And he was so
probably ahead of its time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was so proud and excited that you could. Not only could you, what did he say? Not only can you weigh your food, he had it right in the kitchen, so you can weigh yourself before each meal if you want.
Well, it was a conundrum that you would weigh. You'd get on the scale and you'd weigh X amount, and then you'd eat X amount of food
and weigh less.
You would think that if you added the food weight to the body weight, they would equal the weight that you'd be after you ate the food and got on the scale. But it never happened that way. You never weighed what the food and the weight added together were.
Right.
So where did the food go? Is the question.
No, it was more.
Oh, it was hot because
it's more. So
that's weird.
I know.
Because you would think, well, it makes you hold water, but you'd have to unless you
already have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
The Twilight
Zone.
Zone.
Strange thing.
Someone will explain that one day.
Yep.
You know, I wanted to talk about training partners today on the show because, you know, I was just thinking about like some of the great videos we used to watch back in the day because people don't, I guess today don't really realize it. At one point, there was no social media. Even though there might have been the internet, there was no social media. And even on the internet, the connection speeds were so slow, you couldn't really watch videos. So the only place you could watch videos was every like bodybuilder had their own training video. And then you had like Mitsuru Okabe who was doing like videos of guys getting ready for the Olympia. And you had to buy these videos. And usually originally they were on VHS tapes and then they went to DVDs. But I noticed that the best bodybuilders, the biggest, freakiest guys always had the best training partners. You ever notice that? I mean, Dorian with Leroy Davis.
Yeah.
Flex had like Cormier and Rico. I mean,
Lee Haney with Rich
Ropeman.
Kaspari.
Ropeman, yeah, Ropeman, Felder.
Yeah, Lee Haney,
Ropeman,
Rich Kaspari, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Ropeman was Haney's like regular training partner, right, on a regular basis.
After the first Olympia.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. No, but Dorian and Leroy Davis is legendary. I mean, those are the coolest videos ever to watch when
you
you
pull those up. Yeah,
get ready to train. We say, "Come on, Diesel!" You know, and
it was just so raw. I mean, but you know what?
so
I don't know about you guys, but if I didn't have a training partner, I never would have pushed as hard. You know, back in the day, would you have?
No.
Because you have to have somebody pushing you.
That's cause you're weak-minded, Dave. Weak-minded.
You get into this complacency zone of like, okay, I'm lifting, 405, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then you just don't go beyond that in terms of intensity or maybe forced reps and stuff like that. I mean, you need someone there screaming in your face and pushing you out of your comfort zone, or you don't improve.
Or Dave, you need the competitive, someone who can keep up with you and beat you,
or be mean to you.
No, yeah, it's better to train with someone stronger than you. I agree.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I mean. Or, a lot of people start out, they bring on a training partner, and lo and behold, the training partner's, stronger than them over time. And it's, gets to be this competitive. Look at those calves, man.
Look at Yates. How freaky was Yates?
He was just freaking huge.
People just don't remember, They don't remember how insane Yates was,
Yeah, for it.
He was strong too, very strong in the gym.
Remember that old Icarian leg press like that at Gold's Gym where you'd put 6 or 7 plates on that Icarian and it was heavy, but the flex one beside it, you could load up the side, up the top, and everyone would use that because it looked so impressive. But I always just use Icarian because I'd rather just put 6 plates on than put 14 plates on. I have to take them off.
Dave, I hated that. What was that machine that you had? You could load up with. It had like 14 different like things on it. What was that? I can't remember. It had a huge plate too to push on, leg plate. What the heck was that machine? I remember that machine. Steve,
which one was that one? The inverted one or the hammer one? The hammer one had a huge.
It wasn't hammer. It was. I can't remember the name. It had a really big foot plate.
Oh yeah, it looked like the front of an ice snow plow on it, but
yes, it was just too easy.
One,
it was too easy. I hated using the machine because I didn't want to load all the freaking plates on it. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you one thing. What I noticed at least was that, whenever the guys loaded all those plates on, it became like an ego thing. Who could lift as much? And I never felt like the reps were really good. I never saw anyone do a really good rep with those when they had like 6,000 plates on there. It was like a partial rep, and I think really it was probably I always felt that more in my hip joint than in my actual muscles of my legs. You notice that? I really was never a big leg presser, to be honest with you.
Well, because it sucks having to load and unload the machine is why,
It's not even that. I just never really felt it as much as like I felt the hack squat was way more.
Hack squat was good. I could never squat like barbell squat, and so I was leg pressed always.
Right.
And I remember that flex one leg press at Gold's where you'd put the
yellow one,
the 14 plates on it. Yeah, you put 14 plates on each side, but there's nowhere to put the plates on the side of the machine. I remember one day this one guy unloaded one side, and the whole machine just tipped over. I got show and tell here. Look at this. Don't get jealous, people.
Whoa, Jimmy the Bull. Did he send that to you?
Look at all the writing on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's love.
Yeah, read it. What's it say, Lee?
They're having a love affair.
Lee,
John.
love you like a brother. Stay strong, live strong. Your brother always, Jimmy the Bull, New York. And then
Jimmy and Lee are definitely having an affair.
two
Yeah.
Jimmy the Bull t-shirts.
Wow.
Two Jimmy the Bull t-shirts.
You don't have Lee, but you don't have one like I do. I have the one that says the boss on mine.
Wait a minute, he's not
Yours
done.
is-
Oh, you might have extra stuff there.
Straps.
Oh, straps. He didn't send us those.
That's the knee strap. Oh, they're the elbow straps. Knee straps.
Wow.
Wow.
They must have just come in. You got them before I did.
Yeah, you
Wrist-
got him before us.
Wow.
Wrist
Lee.
straps.
Lee, when am I going to get the training program that I ordered on Instagram from you?
Well, what I'm doing is
I also ordered, by the way, when you were 13 years old, the GH test stack.
and then I got the special wrist straps, the ones you hold on with stuff that come with a penis warmer as well.
Yeah. Speaking of which, yeah.
Well, what I'm doing, Chris, is I've been looking through the old articles that when you're in MD, Chris, and what I've been doing is I've just been seeing how your diet was and your training was back in those days with Laura Gravel. So what I'm doing is I'm actually structuring your program around some of the training things that you used back then. So what I'm doing is taking some of your old training from the old days, bringing it into the new era. So when I send you your program, it's going to be top notch.
Okay. Just send me.
So it's just taking.
Send me the anabolic program from when you were 13, and I'll quadruple it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though it was.
Speaking of which, did you see the NPC now has made it? You have to be 18 years old to compete in the team division.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Why would they do that after all these years? I mean,
Considering any other sport you can compete young in, like gymnastics or anything else, why worry about it now? Kids are going. If it's for a drug thing, kids are going to use drugs no matter what. It's like,
make it so their parents have to be there with them. I mean, that's a simple solution. If you want to compete and you're under 18, you have to be accompanied by a parent. I mean, that's all.
Or a select few NPC officials.
it's a bodybuilding show. It's not a nightclub where you go. It's like
It's a dangerous
like-
ride. You got it. Not only
it is. I guess bodybuilding is a slippery slope into the nightclub party life and drugs.
Oh, no.
It's like,
not only do you have to be 18, but you have to be over 5'2".
There you go.
lucky I'll just get in then. Shit.
Yeah. Look, I've seen, a lot of teens go to these shows. They always go with their parents, right? But I mean, what
Who else?
15 or 16-year-old is not going to go with his parents to a
Dave.
What 16-year-old girl runs away to Nebraska to compete in a
True.
figure show?
Exactly. They're always there with their sugar daddies.
Honest to
Same thing.
goodness, Dave, how many teens with Bob Gruskin won? Like, I won the teen suburban and I won the men's. How old are you? I was 19 or 18. I won the Staten Island. I was 18.
Look at Cody Montgomery. He won the teen nationals at 17, 18, and
Shane,
19.
what was Shane Demora? Wasn't Shane Demora a young teenager?
That's right.
Yeah, I think he was, but I don't.
I think he turned pro when he was 19.
Imagine bringing
might
this.
have.
Imagine bringing this rule out in the 90s and shit. Lou Zooey could shoot himself.
Yeah.
He couldn't get a hold of the young teens. Who would he call up? When, like, I was a teenager. I think my first phone call from Lou Zooey came when I was about 16, 17.
How big your
Hello,
arm?
Lee.
Where'd you get
what
your
are you
number,
doing?
Lee? Where'd you get your number?
I gave it to him.
I don't know how he got that, actually. I don't know how. But he'd be
God
like,
just told you how.
what are you doing? I'm like, Lou, it's 2 a.m. I was sleeping. Okay. Then that would come. How big are your arms? Such and such. Okay. Who do you like? He said, who do you look up to? I said, I like Eddie Robinson because he's got big legs and arms. I like that look.
Phenomenal.
So you think in a couple of years you could beat him? You think you could beat Eddie in a couple of years? I'm like, I'm only 16, 17. I haven't even thought about it. All right. All right. Okay. I'll let you get back to sleep. You just get these random phone calls like that. It's like just so
needed
weird. And
material.
everyone you speak to.
Speaking of a teenage, you know what? Speaking of another teenage freak, Eddie Robinson at 19. I think he benched 500 at 19.
Wow.
Crazy,
Yeah.
right?
Listen, Bob Gruskin said that Eddie Robinson was one of the most impressive teenagers and potential Mr. Olympia.
He was thick, wasn't it? Right?
Wow.
Yeah, potential Mr. Olympia, like meaning just. I hate that word potential, but I mean because right, it's just so open ended.
You know, him and Nick Walker look a lot. It reminds you a lot of Nick Walker, right? Eddie Robinson.
A little bit.
Where?
I'm just saying, as far as his thickness and density at such a young age.
I think Eddie was more Nick's thick in that, but I think Eddie just looked more cartoonish for some reason. Whether because he was more, I don't know, he just had that more freak. It wasn't. How old was Juan Marquez? Was he a teenager when he?
No, he was a total freak.
Or was he?
But he was a bantamweight though.
Was what?
Juan Marquez. Nobody knows who Juan Marquez is. I do.
I had him on the show. He had him on the show. Remember?
He was like a Lee Priest, right?
Yeah.
Meaning
he had the blonde hair and the.
Yeah.
Look at
Actually,
Eddie Robinson.
if you look
as a
at someone.
team. I don't know if it's a team, but this is pretty young here, right?
If you go to my Instagram, Dave, I think
which one? There's like 10 of them.
Whatever one's not suspended at the moment. If you go to that one, there's a picture of me doing a double bicep at 17. That's that time I told you when I guest posed with Labrada when Labrada come out after the Olympia and he'd smoothed right out and he got mad because I was in shape at 17 and I guest posed with him. That's on my Instagram. I think I just posted it today.
I saw it. Yeah.
Lee,
Wait, was it
you know
you
it's funny.
with Cormier or what? Is that was?
No.
No, it's just me by myself
bicep.
doing a double bicep shot.
Oh, hold on.
Let's see if you can pull it up, Dave.
When I'm 17,
Oh, it's a little distorted.
Labrada wasn't happy.
Oh,
I
there it is,
I
right
had posted on Instagram a video of Jay, and I said, "Is this the best 22-year-old of all time?" And someone said, "Maybe," but Lee Priest is close. And I said, "Oh, I forgot Lee was a freak at 22."
Yeah, it was.
22. I was already 2 years. No, not that
know,
one. Not that one. It's just a photo, Dave, not a video.
Oh, it's just a photo.
When's that from, Lee? You look crazy there.
That was just
that's
before
really
the 98. The 98. That was the heaviest I was. I was 218 when that was the heaviest I was.
Look at those arms and delts. Just crazy.
Yeah.
His legs.
Yeah.
Legs are ridiculous.
What's
Go
that
up,
from?
go up, Dave.
What's
Holy
that from?
shit.
Look at
That's
that
a
arm.
lot of oil. A lot of oil in that.
That's jimmied up.
That's jimmied up.
Definitely jimmied. Go up, Dave. Up, go up. We're going the wrong way. Look, we don't. This is your life, Lee. Can you just go up the top? No, you're going down, Dave. You're going the wrong way.
Up? There's nothing up there. I looked. What do you? This is
Is
it.
it in my story then? Is it in my
Oh,
story?
how do I know?
Click
You're
on my
the one who
story.
posted it.
Story.
Click on the story, Dave. And there's my first pro show from the 90 champion. I mean, the Niagara Falls in 93.
That?
Yeah, click on that. Yeah, no, keep going. No.
Why would you put it on your story? It disappeared.
I don't know. Sure, I posted it.
That's
Where
it.
did I put it?
You probably it disappeared. It only lasts for 48
What
hours.
was it? You and Labrada?
It was just me, but it was the same time. No,
Look at the shoulders and arms there.
Yeah.
Arms are
Go
bigger.
down now.
How old are you there, Lee? 15? What next Cormier?
No, that was 2005.
You know, it's
I
funny.
said Chris posted that one because Chris is on the front angle. That's where I beat him, and he still hasn't got over it. It's like Ron Lee beat him. He just can't accept it.
Chris Chris as a teenager and Chris now, I don't think his face looks any different, right?
No.
John? He looks exactly the same.
Yep.
But my first pro show is beneath that, Dave, at Niagara Falls when I was 20 years old.
Oh, hold on.
This is like the Lee Priest of your life.
It is. Look when he was 13.
Where's Niagara Falls?
No, he's
one?
nine.
That
now.
one. There, that one. That's Niagara Falls, yeah.
Wow. Look how young you are there. Wow.
No, not that's when I was 13. That's 13 to the Night of Champions. That one
It
there.
says
was young.
93 Niagara
yeah,
Falls, it says.
Yeah, that's when I was 20 years old. My first.
This is
pro
when
show.
Steve Blackman fell in love with you.
Yep.
Oh, it must have been the hair.
It was the love affair that lasted 2 decades.
I was posing to Momo's music there. That song music.
You kind of look in the face like young Branch Warren.
Yes, yeah, you do a little bit.
You know, when Branch had all that hair.
Yeah, he did. I like Branch's physique back then. It's very symmetrical.
Oh, yeah, he was
Tiny waist.
tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Blackman said that he was clean cut.
Clean cut.
Looks clean.
Oh,
I got
how
started-
long ago? That's almost 93, God. Look how long ago. That's almost 30 years.
Yeah, I know. I think
Jesus.
after you, well, listen, You want to know what a small world it is? There was no Instagram, blah, 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 blah. The whole 9 yards, no Facebook. So was Ed at that show, Connors?
More than
I'm
likely.
sure it probably would have been.
What did Ed get you in the show? How'd you end up doing that show?
I was in the gym because I came over to do the Niagara Falls amateur because I'd won the Mr. Australia 3 times. That's Lou Zewick brought me over to do the Niagara Falls amateur, but he didn't send my tickets in time, so I had to get a friend to pay for my tickets to come over. And Lou never paid me back for them either to this day. So
he's famous for that.
So when I was in the gym, I was doing a photo shoot with Irvin Gelb, and Jim Mannion was there, and he was asking who I was. And when I told him I'd won the Australian title 3 times, 17, 18, and 19, but they said I was too young to turn pro, Jim said, well, you should have your pro card. So he contacted Wayne. Wayne contacted Paul Graham in Australia. So instead of doing the Niagara Falls amateur, I got my pro card to do the pro. And I still remember to this day standing on stage because I've come from Australia, a little place in Australia, at the gyms, looking at all the magazines. I just remember standing on stage. People say, what was it like? I said, I don't remember. I just remember standing on stage going, fuck, there's David Durf. There's fucking Milos. Oh, wow, look, there's it's like the magazines have come to life. So I'm so busy standing on stage looking at these people I've been reading about the magazines all these years. So I just sort of like,
that must have been
funny.
Cool. And then beating happened.
Yeah, and then, like I said, I packed my bag to come for 2 weeks. And after that show, I got a contract with Weeder. So my 2-week visit to the States turned into 18 years.
Did that give you a green card when you got the Weeder contract?
No, it almost took me 7 years to get a green card.
Oh wow! But they let you stay though, so obviously something. Was,
I could stay. Yeah, I could stay. Yeah, but as I was in the process, that's the thing. I couldn't leave and go home because while you're in the process of the green card, even if you voluntarily leave, they put it down as a deportation, so that you couldn't come back. Yeah, so I couldn't go home.
Crazy.
Yes, I was living at the Marina Pacific Hotel for a while, and then I
really?
lived at. Yeah, I lived there for about a couple of months.
It was cheap
And
back
then I
in the
went
90s.
Yeah.
It was like $39 a night. Yeah, right?
You could get as low as like 20 something.
Yeah.
All of us have stayed there at one
Can you
time.
imagine you could stay on the beach in Los Angeles for $25 a night?
Yeah, fully furnished. It was great.
His name was Guy something or another. Wasn't that the name of the guy? No pun intended.
What guy?
There was a guy who ran the hotel. Like you had to mention his name.
Guy,
yeah, right? What was that last name?
I don't know.
Joe Bucci was managing it.
Yeah, Joe Bucci.
But it wasn't Bucci you had to contact. It was the guy, and I'll tell you who put me in touch with that guy.
You had to call him up.
Yeah, you had to call him up, but he always took care of the volumes. Nicole Bass and Bob Fuchs.
Because they would stay for the whole summer, Dave.
Yeah. I was in the room next to him, and you could hear them yelling through the wall. You know,
fighting. They used to fight. You could hear them all the way down to Gold's fighting.
Booming voice. Yeah.
Whose? Hers or his?
Hers.
You want to talk about fights? You sometimes see the fights in the gym. I think the best ones were Matarazzo and Sandy when they were together.
Sandy Riddell. Oh man.
Oh really? They were bad too.
It was really. I got a funny story about those two. This guy Brian, I can't remember his last name. He was the talent manager for American Gladiators, and he was the guy who had got all the the gladiators together for the show, and he lived right under the apartment underneath Mike Matarazzo and Sandy Riddell, and he said that for the longest time he thought the 2 gay guys lived there. Because he heard them fight, we'd hear them fighting, and screaming because her voice was notoriously affected, and he thought 2 gay guys were in there until one day he saw him in the elevator, and got scared.
Yes, they were good. I think even Ed had a few stories about them fighting.
Lee, when you did that show up in Niagara Falls, Ed told me about you.
Yeah.
And Ed said, he's got like 21-inch arms. And I'm like, well, he probably has no legs. He says, no, his legs are better than arms. I said, probably has crappy symmetry. And he says, no, his symmetry is perfect.
But actually, Ed gave me a nice. I've got I got a photo standing near the falls that Irvin Gelb took. I'm in a big one of those big, nice leather Gold's Gym jackets that Ed give me to wear up there because he said it would be cold. So here's a Gold's Gym. I didn't have any jackets with me coming from Australia, so he gave me this big Gold's Gym leather jacket. The good old days.
I still have one of those black Gold's leather jacket.
Now this was I think it was
Those were
red
nice.
with the white.
I was very
white
jealous
leather
of those.
sleeves.
I want to get rid of it.
Yellow.
I'm going to sell it. Someone should.
Yellow gold's riding, red and white, and
Anybody out there want an original black Gold's Gym leather jacket?
What size is it?
It's extra large.
Maybe Aaron Singerman will. Oh no, Aaron can't do
Yeah, he won't be able to buy it.
that. I got a good.
you might be
picture
able to trade it for a pack of smokes.
I don't think they let you smoke in prison anymore.
Really?
And I never understood
They
why
don't?
you can't do anything else. I never understood the whole cigarette thing in prison. There's Sandy Riddell.
You think that would calm? You think that would calm them down?
That's a
Wouldn't you?
good picture of Sandy Riddell.
Yes, before she got,
Where does she do it now? I wonder what she looks like now.
I don't know.
Another one of those bodybuilders that just disappeared.
Disappear.
I wonder
right.
what
Oh,
happened.
Leslie Timble's in the chat. I see. Huh. Hey, Leslie.
Yeah, I saw her in there. Yes.
Leslie.
Can you, Dave?
We should
can
do
you
a
ask Lee how
Where are they now? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
find some of these people.
Well, I don't want to find out like the person died. That I'd rather get them on the show. That's why.
Well, I
Well,
mean, you got to ask the questions till you get them on the show. I mean,
Yeah.
Some might not want to be. Some might be elusive, like the.
We should try to
Sasquatch
dig
up
up
in the
Denise
mountains.
Rakowski someplace. She's still.
Somebody her last sighting was not very well.
No.
Very
Well,
good.
Another Dan Duchesne special.
Yeah.
You sure she didn't pass? She didn't pass away, did she? I thought Denise
No.
passed. No.
Not Denise. I don't think.
No, not Denise.
She looks terrible. I mean, the last.
Probably come close.
Yeah.
More than once. But yeah, she looks pretty rough.
A lot of people get into bodybuilding with mental illness. You know that. I mean, it's
Well, the ones that were attracted to Dan were particularly
Oh God.
mentally irregular.
Why?
which he loved probably.
John,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Let me
John,
try to fix these girls, right? Yeah.
Fix them? No, we wanted to exploit their gifts.
I knew you were going to say that, John. I just knew that's exactly what you're going to say. Fix them. What are you talking about? They're perfect.
When I say
Yeah.
fix them,
Save them.
his own mind, it was fixing
You
them.
save whales. You don't save freaking women bodybuilders.
Unbelievable.
They don't want saving. Some of them.
Let's go back to. I want to go back to the original topic I was talking about, which was training partners.
What was that?
That's
Oh.
Lee's
Is that your
Lee's
cat, Lee?
It almost sounds like a human,
Yes. Some.
small human.
Who is
Come
your
here.
best Lee?
Come
Who
here.
is your best training partner in your career?
Don't say Gillette.
No, I'd never trained with Dillette. I'd probably have to say
He never trained.
Kurt
but-
Miller.
Never trained.
I trained with Kurt Miller, who'd won the Cal and that. He had a shape similar to Flex. But then I trained with Mikey Blonde, Kurt Miller. And then in Australia, I just had like general people that I trained with. I had a friend called Andy Cunningham who won the Mr. Australia. We used to train really hard together and sort of kill each other like Dorian and his mate Leroy and that. But no, I never trained with any other pros really or anyone like that, just general people.
Well, who pushed you the most in the gym?
Myself, Dave, myself.
You're not being graded on this, Lee. You're not going to insult me.
But I wasn't really pushed by anyone. We just trained. I wouldn't say anyone pushed me because I'm the type of person. Yeah, people would say to me like, "Come on, Lee, you got to do it. If you don't do this rep, you're a pussy." And I'll just go, "I'm a pussy," and stop. So I never really got pushed. If I wanted to stop, I just stopped. Mike's going to be on Iron Rage this week because he's got lots of. He was telling as I was driving
I'll ask
yesterday.
him
He
the
was telling
stories.
me
He'll
some
give
of
you
the
the real-
stories.
He'll give you the real
He
information.
was bringing up stuff that I forgot about. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that.
He'll give you the good stories. Lee doesn't remember anything. Lee is when you're myostat negative, Chris. You don't have to really worry about the gym, right? You just go through the motions there.
Well, you can do high volume.
Oh, someone said Platts. When I trained with Platts for a year, we trained sort of crazy. He
you
sort of
did?
made me do stupid. He made me do stupid shit.
I rep stuff.
Yeah, like just
dangerous.
go.
Set
Dangerous,
100 rep
right?
sets.
A bit of both. There's a fine line between stupidity and because you just be going and going, and then even on the so you couldn't do any more leg extensions after he gave you the negatives, and then he'd lift it up and your legs just go down, and then he'd pull it up and hold your legs. Then he'd make you hold it, then he'd be pushing down on it, and then if I was doing hack squats, I can't do anymore. He'd like get it up, so I'd pull the hack squat up. and he'd go halfway down. He'd yell at me. So I go halfway down, and he goes, hold it. So as I hold it, then he'll jump on the hack squat and start pushing down on it like this. Yeah. And I'm trying to push it up, and he's like, just push it. He's like, give it everything you got. And he's got his head down, and I'm like this, like I'm going to punch him in the back of the fucking head every time. That's what it's like every workout. And then when it was his set, I'd spot him, right? Say we're doing calves, he's doing toe raises, like toe presses, and he'd be going, Then he starts going quicker, and then he starts doing this. He goes, get my feet, Lee, get my feet. So I grab his toes, and now I'm pulling his toes. This is like 20 fucking minutes this goes on. I'm losing my pump. I've cooled down because Tom just keeps going till it's just like this. Even if it's just... Are you done?
There's no exaggeration
he's
there.
Hanging on.
No?
He's hanging on.
No exaggeration. There's no one ounce.
Yeah, he's like, he's just moving this. He's like, I'm like, fucking hell.
Lee, how about like chins with plats?
I just keep going, and then even this is laterals. We're doing laterals. I do my laterals. I'd burn. I'd stop. Okay, it's Tom's set. He'll be going. Okay, he's going to stop in a minute. Then he goes to here.
Yeah, great. Let's go.
Then he's hold on. I got to get these out of the way. Then he's like. And it's like fucking 5 minutes of this, and I'm like, oh fuck! I'd like to do a set. I mean, he goes till he can't stop. I said, Tom, why don't you do a comeback? I said, you've got it in you. He goes, oh no, Lee, I couldn't do a comeback. He goes, if I get in that frame of mind, he goes, I'll go crazy. But every exercise was like that. No matter what he did, he'd just go. We've all seen partial reps and whatever. I don't know what Tom calls it. They were partials, quarters, one third of a fucking third. It was like till it was just a fucking twitch. It's like, is he finished or is he having a stroke? He would do the
twitch. He would do the that's why I said chins, he would just end up hanging on the chins.
Even on lats, he'd hang, then he'd just go like this. While he's hanging. I'm like I said, if you're doing sets with Tom, they say, how long do you rest between sets? If you're waiting for your set, it's a good 10 minutes before going.
Tom may take 2 minutes.
Tom would train with some people, and these guys would Tom would still get Tom would grow into the Olympia. And his training partners would just 100% shrink into the Olympia.
They disappear.
Lee,
because
they
the
want to
stress
know.
was too much.
Well, I remember the first leg workout I had with Tom down at Gold's Redondo. I met him for legs the first time ever. And we did that. And I mean, he was pushing me, but I didn't give in. And I was doing 5 plates, 20 reps, do more. And at the end of the workout, we went across, I think Ruby's Diner was a crossover near the pier. Mm-hmm. As we went down the Gold's Gym steps, I'm like skipping down there laughing. He's like, oh, you're a machine. He goes, I'd be crawling out. How do you do it? And I'm just smiling. That night when I went to bed, I woke up about 2 a.m. I thought I was having a heart attack. My central nervous system was fucked. I woke up and my fucking heart's pounding. I'm laying there like, it was terrible. I thought I was having a heart attack. But when I was in front of him, I didn't let him show that it hurt me.
How did it feel working out with Frank Zayn and Sean Ray in the Flex workout videos?
Oh, yeah, I like them. They were good. Frank was good. Actually, Sean was okay back then for some reason. He wasn't too bad back in those days. And that, but someone actually posted it not long ago, and I was watching it. And it's funny because Frank's giving all the compliments. Oh, look at Lee's arms and this and that. Then Sean would give a compliment with a dig, but such and such, yes. And Lee can use big weights like that because he's got short arms. And that's when I had we had the unitards on. We had those unitards on.
Hot skins.
It comes up a fair bit, yeah.
Hot skins.
Are they the sponsor?
It's on there, and like I said,
yeah,
I think they might have been. Yeah, but like I said, Frank was nothing but complimentary and being nice, and Sean was being Sean with his compliments, but then little slide put downs at the same time.
Let's see if I can pull this up. Hold on.
They were classic ones, them.
Look at that.
I had my hair all slicked back. I had the Tom Platts look there too, I think. The hair slicked back. Oh, here we go. Am I in this one? I thought I was doing... I might have done chest and biceps, did we?
Yeah, you're in it. There you are.
Oh, look at Lee. Excuse me.
Frank Zayn doesn't look like he's really pushing too hard on those flies. Let's see Lee go. Let's see Lee's more.
Oh, look at Lee compared to Sean. I was still only... That would have been I think I was around 94, so that was only the second year I'd been in.
You
America.
actually look bigger than Sean.
Oh, way bigger. Shoulders, arms, and legs.
Yeah, but
Who
he's
did
short,
this
he's short,
show?
like-
Who ran this show? Is this Weeder ran this one?
I think Zwick. I think it wasn't Zwick in
Yeah,
part. I think
it was
Zwick
Rick's
had
show.
something
It
to
was
do.
Rick's show. Yeah.
Is Zayn wearing hush puppies? White socks.
And I know Frank's been complimentary there, and Sean's like, yeah, no,
Yeah, because he's got short arms.
So how old are you there? How old is Zayn there?
94, I would have been 22, depending on what time of the year it was.
Zayn
It would
was
have been
78,
20.
probably.
I would have been 20, 21, going 22. Or if it's after July, I would have been 22.
And what about Zayn there?
70.
No. Zayn looks good there.
Yeah,
Zayn looks pretty young and
He does.
round.
He
And
looks good.
he's got to be 50 there, right? At
And he
least.
didn't pull out his guitar, at least. That was one.
Chris, who was the best training partner you ever worked out with?
Matt Dufresne.
He was the guy Sister Nino of that era, right?
Yeah, just like
Matt Dufresne.
just willed himself. I mean, a lot of people can will themselves, but just really hard trainer. Really, really good trainer.
He was putting up. I saw on Facebook he was posting some stuff the other day about him. He was a freak, right?
Oh, he was great. He was great. He got busted.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, that's what put an end to that got, he was very young and winning, the NABRA Universe, Mr. America, when it was still pretty competitive shows.
Right. He was a freak. Yeah.
That was it.
What do you weigh in that picture, you think?
I think 210, 212.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Lee was 210. I mean, you know what I mean? Lee just said he was 209. Matt's 210. And now people are like, oh, I'm 280. I'm like, well, Matt would destroy you. How's that?
Look how big
Especially when you
the
turn from behind,
look how big the trophies were back there.
Yeah, exactly. John,
He
who was
has
the best?
dwarfism. Scott R's on here. Scott R. Now, let's give a shout out to Scott R, because in all your videos, Dave, that you post on YouTube, Scott R copies and pastes the same comments on every video and says the same garbage, everyone. So let's give Scott the attention that his parents did it. Hello, Scott. How are you? We've acknowledged you now, Scott. Thank you very much. Oh, he's going to blow a big load tonight, but thank you, Scott.
How did Pete Grimkowski train? Someone wants to know.
He would swallow a bottle of Anavar first.
Is that true?
Yes.
The whole bottle?
The whole bottle.
Oh my god. It's funny. Who was your best training partner, John? Would you say?
Dean Fornabenny.
Oh yeah, Dean was Dean was a good bodybuilder.
He was ferocious.
Mhm.
Yes, he was ferocious. He
Yeah.
was ferocious. I saw him in Gold's Gym. He was ferocious.
Yep.
He was a sick pup in the gym.
Someone
Right?
just posted that picture the other day of me standing outside Gold's near his Red Viper. I got my pants down,
Yep.
flexing my legs near his car.
What was
And there's
what were some of the titles he won?
He was the lightweight USA, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, lightweight USA.
He did decent in his, I think, first pro show. And
Yeah.
he was what? How tall was he?
Like barely 5 feet.
Yeah, and he wasn't gigantic, but he got the few years when he was doing well, he got crazy.
Yeah, he was put together. He had great, incredible deep
What do you have?
detail in
He
his
had the first. He did TRT, right?
muscle.
I mean, no, he did hormone replacement therapy. He had a clinic, didn't he, or no?
Yeah. He made it. He had a comeback, and he was I don't know what he did. He made $1 billion doing something. I mean,
he used to come into Golds with the, what do you have for, like a Ferrari or something?
everything. He started with a Porsche,
Mhm.
went from there. But he was like one of the first on QVC or one of the TV 800 number marketing sites, and he had a diet program and then a piece of exercise.
Yeah, that's right. He did.
Him and Jake Steinfeld worked together.
Oh, really?
I
Interesting.
think.
He worked with Goglia, I think, right? Goglia.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if they did or
I'm
not
not
or
sure.
whatever. I thought they were adversaries, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Dave, there's a guy called Jazz. He's asked a few times now. Lee, can you please ask Dave when Species Nutrition coming to Australia?
We're working on it. Lee's helping me.
Working on it.
We're working on it.
Just
Working on
relabel
it.
everything, Dave, and send it over.
See if Aaron Singerman will do a business.
Relabel everything.
Have Aaron coordinated.
Just send me the labels.
Dave,
just send me the labels,
nobody,
and I'll go stick it on stuff over here.
Dave, you didn't weigh in, Dave, on cancellation of teenage bodybuilding.
Yeah,
I think it's. I don't know. I wanted to get your opinion. Why you think they did that? Because Chris, you're usually pretty good at reading minds. I haven't really talked to anyone. I just saw it today up on Gary's Instagram.
Liability.
You think it's a liability? Yeah.
Distancing ourselves and liability.
Yep, I agree with Chris.
We can't have, Chris in Maine, the 16-year-old, on Trent and Decca, getting ready for the Maine State show at 16 and 17 years old. Period.
Or perhaps more to the point, we can't know that he's on Decca and Trent and still allow him to, compete. What if something happens?
Yeah, but is that the organization?
Well, what about yes and no, John, of course, because you'd have to say, do we know about the guys in the Olympia and something happens?
There's a good point.
Yeah.
That's true.
Is it the organization's fault if they're doing that, even being underage or overage? As Chris says, in the rule book, you're not meant to use banned substances and stuff like that, but people are. So if you're underage, you can't stop them. But how could they be held liable if they competed and took trend because the organization didn't say take trend? The organization says do not take them.
Well, that's very interesting because the organization not only says you can't take them, but they know full well that everybody does. So you're ostensibly saying on one hand, well, we don't want any kids under 18 competing because we know they're going to do something potentially life-threatening, unhealthy, break the law, or whatever, and we can't condone that among minors. But if you're over 18, then it's okay. You can go ahead and break the law.
Look, if your parents sign the sheet and show up at the contest with you, I don't see why there'd be a problem, having a teen on stage.
You got to. This whole thing is double spaced.
Because Dave, what are they signing? Permission that
they're released, and they're giving permission for their child, who they're the guardian of, to compete.
As long as you don't mention it, as long as you don't say.
That's what I mean. What are you giving them permission for? Just to
get on stage. They don't. I mean, look, the organization doesn't know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, that's
Maybe they need something like if you're underage and you go to one of those track experiences for the day, or you're going on a ride, and there's all these rules and that, and you accept responsibility by going on this ride or in this car, that if anything happens, it's your responsibility. Like when you join up, you sign up at gym.
At 80 miles an hour around tracks.
NASCAR has younger kids, 16 in the
but
Busch
they don't
series.
promote you that you drink cough syrup before you get in the go-kart.
But we're not promoting that, John. The IFBB is against steroid use.
Well, did you notice that letter was double spaced? There leaves plenty of room between the lines to read. Okay.
I don't know.
That was already there, John. You got to hold it up to the candle. It's an invisible ink with the lemon juice. You got to hold it up to read it. It's invisible ink. I've seen that before.
Invisible ink. Exactly.
Right. Well, I want to give a shout out to the person who really taught me how to train really the right way, and maybe it wasn't the most intense, but he pushed me out of my comfort zone and really helped me build the physique I had. And that was my friend Doug Wendt. Doug, Chris.
Yep.
And he was a Grushkin guy, and he really, every time we'd go into the gym and I thought I knew what we were going to do, he would change up the exercises, and I'd be like, "What? What are we doing? Clean snatches? What the hell is that about?" He would just, it was a constant shock to my body, and he constantly had me doing stuff that I didn't want to do. But I listened to him because I knew he had experience and he knew what he was doing. He was a very good trainer. He was good at explaining how to execute the movements. And I learned a lot from him. So even though he might not have been the guy screaming in my face, the most, but I think I learned the most from having him as my training partner. And I think we pushed each other. So I can't stress enough to have how important it is to have a training partner, because you know what? I never would have had the balls to get under 600 pounds on a squat bar, or even 500 for that matter, when I first was doing it, if I didn't have someone I trusted behind me, spotting me and motivating me. And I don't know how guys train today with no training partners. Well, I know there are some good ones out there, but I mean, not everyone does it anymore.
You should train with lots of different people, or several people, simply because there's not one training program that fits all. And I can guarantee you, if I train with you, or if I train with Lee or John, I'm going to learn something on some body part that I can take away from that.
You'll
And I
learn,
think that's
you'll
the
learn nothing from me, Chris. You'll learn nothing from me.
I was going to say the only person I don't want to train with is Platts, but other than that,
I stole everything from Charles.
Hold on, no, wait, Chris. The one person you don't really want to train with is Serge Nubret, right?
Lee, I trained with Serge
Chris
Nubret, and I almost
He used to go for hours, didn't he?
died.
Chris, tell the story. You thought the workout was over.
It's just beginning, was it?
It was like halftime.
Yeah.
Well, take a packed lunch.
Sometimes he would take like people come they do like chest in the morning, shoulders in the afternoon. He would do chest and then like take an hour break and hit it again.
Chris told me the story. He was like, I couldn't move. I was like, yes, I made it through the workout. And Serge is like, okay. Well, didn't he drink a shaker or something like that, or eat a hamburger or something like that?
Yeah.
Let's go.
He used to, and he'd mock people. He'd mock you, and while the training, like with that little French voice, and say, don't worry about me. I'm 57 years old. I can't keep up with you. He would bury people.
You know what's remarkable?
Look at his physique, though. Look at the incredible physique he had.
Unbelievable. And I tell Dave the story too. Is he used to go out? He hated training in California when he went to California because it was too warm. Because he'd love in France to do like 4 or 5 sets, and then he'd go outside in the freezing cold weather with a tank top on and tiny little shorts, and he'd freeze to death and shiver, right? And he figured out that would make him leaner. It'd make him leaner, and he'd do a few sets and warm his body up.
It had nothing to do with the 6-hour workout he just did, right? And he ate once a day, right?
And he ate fish and fruit. And that was
once a day, though, right? Didn't he just gorge?
Yeah, usually ate one meal a day. A lot of meth.
You said he was into stimulants, right?
Oh yeah, he would have like crazy stimulants from France. That's why he would only eat once, because his appetite would be shut off.
And
I was a kid.
Maybe he
I'd be like,
ADD. Maybe he was ADD.
how could he train so long and on nothing?
Thiomucase.
How many workouts did you have with him? Did you keep going back, or did you just?
Oh yeah, I'd go back. I'd go back, but the workouts were just devastating.
You had to recover for a week between each workout. Yeah.
I remember him saying, someone asked him about Dorian's workout, and he said,
the one set,
yeah, and he's very open-minded. He said, I'll never forget it. He said, obviously, it works really good for him. And then he would tell people, like just average people, you are not going to do one set and grow.
Right.
And he would tell people that he had so many quotes. He was like Muhammad Ali. He said, Michelangelo did not paint the Sistine Chapel with one paintbrush. Yeah. He had big paintbrushes, little paintbrushes, wide ones, this one. He said, and the same thing as when it comes to your training, you can't just do one set of, one basic exercise. You need to do, multiple sets, multiple angles. That was his, calling card.
When I first started training, I couldn't, it was very hard for me to feel like the muscles were fatigued. When I got really big, I would do 3 sets of like incline bench presses, and I wanted to go home. Like I was like, my chest was destroyed because it was like I was able to feel the muscle more, contracted better. I had a much better mind-muscle connection. I think the bigger you get, you can do less and still get gains. Whereas when you're first starting, you don't have those nerve pathways built up. You don't have that mind-muscle connection. You don't have that exercise form perfected. And I think that's why you need to do more sets when you're young.
Yeah, it's a paradox because when you're beginning, you have no idea how to do. I mean, if you're the average guy, right? You have no idea on a bench press what it's really working. So you have to do multiple sets to just work in that stress on the muscle.
Yeah, I think.
And then as the weights, as you get stronger and stronger and stronger, not necessarily is it that your recovery gets better and better and better.
I remember when I was young, 13, 14, 15, sometimes I used to train Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and do the whole body each day, and felt great. I do like legs, back, chest, shoulders,
No,
arms.
you have
take
no
Tuesday off.
myostatin. No, that's
No
do it
matter
again.
what he did.
John
could've
would
gotten up-
probably remember this. Remember at World Gym, I'd sometimes go in and do chest, and Zabo, I'd talk to Zabo quickly, and Zabo, I'd say, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just going to do the Roman chair sit-ups. You could probably finish an hour and a half chest workout, and Zabo would still be doing the Roman chair.
He would do
sit-ups
Why
and
was he
abs.
so? Why was
Well,
he
he
so
would-
upset?
He would do 1,000 reps, Zabo.
Oh, really?
Minimum, yeah.
He would do.
Oh.
Can we do 1,000? He would do 1,000 crunch reps on the Roman chair. Yep.
What did he think was? Why did he think that was important?
He had the best abs I've ever
Yeah.
seen in my
Yeah, remember his photos of his abs back in
Yeah.
the day? And
Yeah, but do you think he probably didn't need to do all that?
the
to
funniest
have
thing,
those
though,
abs?
was Zabo was when he wasn't.
What?
The funny thing used to be when Zabo wasn't training and Joe would put him in charge of the afternoon office shift.
Oh, really?
Zabo would get a book, put his sunglasses on, go to sleep, take the phone off the hook. And sometimes I'd have an afternoon workout. And I hear this, "Roar!" That's Joe Tahoe pulling into the car park under the gym. Up he comes.
Oh, no.
Put the fucking phone on the hook. I've been trying to call you for the last 4 hours. Zabo wouldn't. People could just walk in and train. Zabo wouldn't scan anyone. He'd just sit there with a book, but he'd be asleep. Phone's off the hook, and Zabo's for
You need
hours
to
just asleep.
You got to take naps to recover from all those ab exercises that he's doing. Holy crap.
That's so true. That little booth at the top of the stairs.
Yeah.
With the-
Yeah. Phone's off the hook, and sometimes I'd be talking to him when the phone's on the hook. I'd say, "Zabo, the phone's ringing." He's going to answer it. He's like, "Nah, I don't know who it is."
You'd walk in.
Of course you
You'd
don't.
walk in and
You haven't
he'd
picked
be
it up.
sound asleep, and you'd walk in, to check in, and you
Yeah.
just look at him, and he'd be with the book, and then you just walk in. Yeah, I mean, anybody could have trained.
But I've even seen tourists come in sometimes. They're like, "I want to train." He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." He just didn't want to do anything. He just let him go.
Chris, I got a
Well,
question.
the T-shirts. Remember the T-shirts were in the attic. You must have
Oh yeah.
uploaded them up there a million times, Lee.
Mhm.
And if the T-shirt that somebody was asking for wasn't in the little rack in the office, he would say, "Well, we're out of them."
Yeah.
A million of them upstairs, but he didn't
Uh-huh.
want to climb up there to get them.
Chris, did Vince Taylor do a lot of abs? Someone said they used to do 1,000 abs.
No, not Vince.
That's what
I don't
this
think
guy's
Vince
saying.
Taylor did. No.
He said before the Arnold or the Olympia, he would go crazy
I
with
don't
the
think
abs.
so. Would he? I didn't know.
I don't know.
You know whose physique I used to like when I was back in Australia, because he was almost, I guess he was about the same height as me. He had a really good physique. Remember, I don't know where he is now, Victor Terra.
Yes. He was another Grushkin guy.
Unbelievable. Another busted Dave.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday, Jason. The D.
Victor Terra, I had posted a picture, Dave, or I sent it to you. I sent it to Jay. When Ernie Santiago won the overall men's USA, Victor was 5'4", and I think he was 170
Wow.
or 163.
And he looked ridiculous. Yeah, he was huge.
He
And-
looked so much bigger.
When he won the Teen USA, NPC, and when they brought Ernie Santiago out with Victor Terra, Ernie didn't want to pose next to Victor because Victor looked like he could win the men's open.
Yeah, that's pretty bad when you
I
don't
used to
want
have a, I used to have a,
I
I
had
used to have a
Dave.
photo.
I had okay. You know what? I had asked. I wish she could resend it. I had asked on this show if anyone has a picture from that show because I remembered it. I remember having seen it at Bob Gruskin's house, and someone on this show had sent it to me. I sent it to you. I sent it to Jay, and it's just mind-boggling.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me pull up.
I mean, and he was 18. He wasn't 19 yet.
It's
so
good
talk
he wasn't
about teenage
17.
bodybuilding.
He wouldn't be allowed to train. He wouldn't be allowed to compete. He was
I
afraid.
remember the picture I had. Was it on the cover? It was like him standing in front of a American flag or something.
Oh yeah,
How's
that's
that?
the American
How's that
flag
going
one is a typical. That's a Bob Grushkin, the American flag one, right, Chris?
Yeah, everyone in Western Mass, everybody,
Look at
DeMayo, Jay, we all knew Victor.
How heavy did you say he was?
got in
Like
trouble too,
170?
right?
Yeah, he got in trouble. That's what I said.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal.
Pull up the American flag picture. Bob, where did Bob take that picture when he won the America?
Someone
In the,
said
second, in the second bedroom at his house, Dave.
He took that picture of the
someone
American
said
flag.
C-bum deadlifting and
That's in
squatting.
his studio, Dave. Well, Bob had a studio in the house.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah,
that.
that's the picture I remember. Someone was talking about C-Bum at young age, 18, squatting 5 plates for reps. There's a video of Lee Priest squatting seven plates at 17 for reps. Screw C-Bum. my myostatin deficient. At least short, he didn't have far to go.
Deficiency has its privileges, Lee.
That's what someone said to me the other day.
Sean Ray would say pretty impressive, but that's because they're
you have short legs.
Someone told me the other day, someone goes, Lee, you're a short ass. Oh, and by the way, you've got short legs. I said, yeah, well, most people do have short legs, you dickhead. Thanks for the thank you, Captain Obvious. Fucking hell. Yeah. I've never seen someone 5'5" with really long legs.
Yeah. Someone said Nasser was a really good trainer. Did you ever see a Nasser train, Chris?
No, I never saw Nasser.
I never saw him train either. I did a photo shoot with him, but no.
I saw him train with. He used to train with Milos in San Diego.
Oh, he did.
I trained with Jimmy Quinn, and those two trained with each other. We were there at the same time.
He looked like he had a good muscle. He looked like he trained heavy. I don't know. He must.
They trained pretty. Milos and him threw down. They trained heavy.
You can't someone said, and not train hard. It's impossible.
Someone said, Lee, let's see that video. Just Google it. Google young Lee training. You'll find it. Do your homework yourself, for God's sake.
I bet you Milos is a great training partner to have.
You know, I remember Jimmy Quinn, and we would have to coordinate our leg days to be off.
No.
We couldn't train legs on the same day as those two because there was not enough plates.
Oh, yeah. When Jimmy and what's his name? From the Gladiators would get together. Jimmy
Billy
and
Smith.
Yeah.
That was another psychotic trainer. Those two together were seriously retarded.
Mm-hmm. So it's funny. So towards the end, it was like Billy when he trained. I've never seen a guy with more like those bands on elbows, shoulders, knees. He was almost like, I said to him one day, I said, why don't you just come out like the Mummy, just wrap yourself up? He had like so many support bands. He's like, bad elbow, bad shoulder, knee here. But
actually, to hide the Nubain scars.
Yeah, even with all those injuries, he's still going crazy with the weights.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, there was definitely. If we sat down and thought about it, we'd come up with a list of incredible.
Someone said, just watch the video, Lee. Tom Platz would slap you if you saw that death. Yes, I only ever went parallel. And because I was only 17 then, squatting 7 plates, I wasn't going to go crazy and drop all the way down. But you never did it at 17. Isaac Levi, post your pictures, you piece of shit.
You know what, though? Guys who have...
Who are you, Isaac?
Guys who have short legs can do partial squats. And they look partial, but they're really not because your hamstring and your calf are probably hitting each other. You probably can't go.
Mine always did.
Yeah.
When I was bulked up, I didn't have to go far, and it would always touch.
Yeah. It happened to me, and I had a long leg.
I just went till I felt it, and generally it was just parallel. I found anything beneath parallel, I felt more glutes and hammy. But if I wanted to do my quads, I'd just go just above parallel a little bit or just parallel in that range there to keep the tension on. I didn't like dropping down deep or anything like that. I just kept it there. I guess I had shit. I had shit legs. That's why it didn't work. Exactly.
So it's true then you never let Steve Blackman put a tournament around you.
No. I use Steve's motivation. I use Steve's motivation. I used to think Steve was sitting under me when I squatted.
Chris, who do you think
I just go down,
squatter?
touch the tip, and pop back up.
Who was the best squatter you've seen in the gym? Like where you were like, wow, that guy's a fucking good squatter.
Platz.
Paul DeMeo.
No, Platz he was crazy squatter, but just like it was free fall right on the downside, right, Lee? It was
you would drop into it.
Oh my gosh! If you blinked, you'd miss the rep. It'd be down and up.
See him do those? I used to do. Yeah, I had me do those hacks too. Man, those hacks he does where it's
with
more like
with the hips
going
way
down.
Up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost like a sissy squat on the hacks. Your feet are down the very bottom, so when you go out, it's like your quads are going out over your knees on this sissy squat, and you're pushing your hips forward. And it's like you feel like your quads are going to tear out of your knees.
Your kneecap is going to explode.
It's almost like a leg extension, laying down.
It's like a leg extension, hack squat, sissy squat, all in one.
Oh yeah.
I wish I had squat footage of me like back when I was doing like crazy squat workouts. I mean, that's the only thing I miss is the fact that we didn't have cell phones back then.
Yeah.
I was a very good squatter. I don't, I think my form was perfect. Like, as far as
if it's not on video, you didn't do it, mate. You didn't do it. If it's
I got to get Mitsuru Okabe has got the video of me training legs, and I can't get this freaking guy in contact with him and get this footage that he was supposed to release.
Yeah, actually, someone contacted me not long ago. I'll see if I can find it because I think Mitsuru sold it all to somebody else, and somebody else all has that footage now.
Can you please find that footage for me?
Yeah, I'll find out. Yeah, because someone contacted me because it popped up, and somehow this would have been about a year ago that Mitz contacted me and told me that somebody else owns it now. So yeah, someone said Lee inflates his lift. He would have had world. Now this is the thing he do. I've never inflated my lifts or body parts.
Just your cycles.
I don't even do that.
No, you deflate those.
When I was 17 and that, this is the thing. They go, you couldn't have done that at 17. Just before I was 18, before I won my second Mr. Australia, I benched 5 plates. They're like, if you did that at that body weight under 70 kilos, would have been a world record. And people used to tell me all the time, do powerlifting, you're so strong and stuff like that. But I wasn't interested in powerlifting. And then I was doing 4 plates close grip like this and 4 plates pressed behind the neck at 17. And then just before 18, I fucked my shoulder up and couldn't do it much after that. So yeah, but people are like, now why would I make shit up like that? I got nothing to fucking prove. And the thing is, if you call Paul Haslam, Paul Haslam was Mr. Australia. He run the gym. He's on Facebook. He's a personal trainer in a city gym in Sydney. Ask him. He owned the gym. He was spotting me. Go ask all these people. Oh, you'll just tell them to lie for you. We know you.
Bloody hell.
You can't win. But it must suck to be people that go through life who can't accomplish anything. And their philosophy is, well, if I can't do it, you can't do it. And if other people couldn't do it, you couldn't do it. If I can't run under 10 seconds, Usain Bolt can't, nobody else can. Fuck it. It's all bullshit.
Look at it. Here's a classic picture Chris just sent me. Look at that one.
Oh, look at that shirt.
Look at that.
He still has it, I bet you. Chris, you still own that shirt?
No, I don't. I don't know where I got that. Maybe George Zachary gave
What were you looking at there? Is that a training program you're reading, or what are we
Milos'
looking at?
drug journal.
No,
there,
I can't remember. That was at, where did they used to have that show at the, Romano would know. That Cal show, like,
oh yeah,
Knoxbury Farm.
Knoxbury Farm. Yep. That's true.
And I probably dropped that. I was training with Sarge at that time, like on the weekends, and I probably could. That was all I could do to hold that book probably that day. My arm was so like destroyed from his.
So Serge Nubret would wear like suits to the shows.
Oh, he would wear
impeccably
impeccable. Like when he would walk to a show, everyone would turn and say like, "Who's that?" Even if they didn't know him.
Really?
The shoes would shine a mile away.
Yeah. He was.
I thought that was
made for him by hand. I
thought that was Chris with Sidney Poitier.
Yeah. There's some resemblance.
It does look like Sidney Poitier. You're right.
Dave,
Did you see?
I was in a years and years ago. I probably was like 20. I was in an airport looking through a Flex magazine.
Yeah.
And I looked up and Sidney Poitier was there.
No way, really?
Yes. And he looked down and I was like, God, who is that? And he said something like, made small talk, which was, I thought, unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, it's totally cool because after the fact, once you realize, it's Sidney Poitier.
I was talking to my friend Mike Popkin this past weekend, and he went to Billy Joel had a concert, and he said Billy Joel's still amazing. I don't even know how Billy Joel's still singing with at that level, but he said he went to the bathroom and he took a piss, and standing next to him was A-Rod,
That's funny.
Which is not that funny in and of itself. He said, but then 2 hours later he went back because he's got like prostate. And A-Rod was standing next to him again, taking a piss. 2 hours.
Did he get a sample? He could have got a sample to test it.
He might have. Yeah. So anyway, Billy Joel.
I put out that picture of. You won't be able to find it on my Instagram. But you saw that picture a couple of weeks ago? I put up of my grandmother and Serge Nubret when he came out here for a seminar, And my grandmother was like in love with him. She's like, oh, wow, look at him. And he pointed her out of the audience and said, come up here. My grandmother's like, me? So my grandmother goes up there and almost fucking rapes him. She's got her hands all over him.
That's
There's
great.
a picture on my Instagram I put up where she's just hugging him like this. She's got her head on his chest and she's hugging him. It's like,
Now
but I
I
remember
know
when
where
he came out.
Now
He
we know
came
where
out
you
in
get
this
it
like
from.
one-piece jumpsuit.
Yeah.
He had this one-piece jumpsuit on and he's walking around. You're like, wow, he looks good. He's had this shape. You can tell he's got thing. But when he came out the guest pose and the spotlight him, it was like, my God, looks like he just put on 100-pound of muscle. It's like dressed in clothes. He looked athletic. But when he stood on stage, it was just like, wow, this like freak all of a sudden. It was incredible.
Well, Lee, nobody could pump up. You know when people are like, oh, I gotta pump up. I gotta pump up. He could pump his arm. He could pump his arms, pecs, and shoulders. Like, you know,
Yeah, it's like,
oh, it looks like I added 3 inches when he would pump up his pecs and shoulders and arms.
that's what it was like. Because in this, like, he had this one-piece jumpsuit on. You could tell he had a nice physique, but you're like, yeah, he looks trim. But then when the spotlight hit him, it's like, you swear he just put a 200-pound muscle suit on over what he already had. It was just like, boom. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
I see the Sydney Portier. I don't see your grandmother groping him though.
No, it must be down further. It's down a bit.
Maybe it's in a story, Dave.
No, it's not the story. It's on the wall there. You'll find it. Just go down. She's like got her head on his chest like this, and she's like looking at him like. It'll be down a little bit. You'll find it.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Like she couldn't believe it. She wasn't letting go of it.
Oh, was it? She had a. Hold on. Let me put this up. This is funny.
She couldn't believe it. My grandmother was like, me? You're picking me out? Oh, she was up there in no time.
This is
What did he
funny.
do? He picked her out of the audience.
Yeah.
I think she's got her hand on his ass too.
Oh, she was
Serge
grabbing
actually looks
something
really good
back
there.
there, don't you?
He looks really good
She
there.
was grabbing something. That would have been like mid-80s, 87, maybe
This
88.
would explain a lot of things about you, Lee, right there.
Lee did exaggerate one bit.
That's just before she slipped her hand down the front bit like that. You go down for a little tickle.
Serge looks like he just wants to go eat because he hasn't eaten his one meal for the day yet. You know?
Right.
Serge almost became my new grandfather that day.
Ah, there you go.
Storage Dave didn't believe in, like, he was so adamant against chicken breasts,
Oh, what would he eat then?
chicken legs.
Oh, right. You told me that. Yeah. You like
when I was with
he was
Tom,
a fat protein guy.
when I was with Tom, I would eat chicken. Every time I had meals with Tom, he would eat chicken wings, never breast. We'd eat chicken wings all the time.
Wings.
Yeah, wings. And then for breakfast, because we lived in the same apartment complex, I go for breakfast. I'd have to have real butter on the toast. You got to have real butter. Okay, real butter. Then I had to have bacon every morning, bacon with the egg. So I'm like, this is great, but I didn't think. I think in all these years I've been eating fucking oatmeal and egg whites for breakfast. I could have been eating bacon and eggs and butter on the toast and chicken wings.
Why did he do that? What did he believe in eating more
I
fat?
think he said because the chicken wings, I think because of the fat, but then he said, do you still get the protein? But because it's smaller amounts than that, your body's got to take longer to digest. I don't remember something. I can't
This is
remember
what happened to Lee after
Look
eating with Tom Platz for a couple of days. Yeah.
Except the chicken had the kernel on the label. Was the problem.
You look like Brutus the Beefcake Barber, right?
Yeah, he does.
That's when I was out racing the race cars at California Speedway that day.
Yeah. I don't know how
Obviously, I
don't know how he fit in the car.
Yeah, I just said that.
Obviously, I didn't lose any water in the race suit, did I?
No.
Actually, I used to think that, John, when I'd climb in through the window and I'd just get in, I'm thinking now, if God forbid anything happens and his car just rolls and that window just comes down an inch, I'm fucked. I can't get out. I can barely get in.
You had balls to get in that car and race that car. I don't know how you freaking did it, to be honest with you. That's
the dragster was more fun because when I was bulked up like that in the dragster, you got to remember taking off in the dragster, you got 5 G's on you. So it's like, and then when you pull the parachute, you got -5, so it just goes. And if your lap belt, let me tell you, if the lap belt, you got the racing harnesses, your arms are tied in as well. But if that lap belt's in the wrong spot between your legs and you hit those -5 G's, you know about it.
Did you ever think I'm gonna die? Did you ever when you were racing
No, I felt that more doing fucking bodybuilding. The day I took a shot of Trent in the bathroom with Paffy one day and I injected it really fast and I couldn't breathe. And I let go of my arm and my chest got super tight. I'm hanging onto the bathroom thing. I thought, this is how it's going to end, the needle hanging out my arm. Like this. I had more death experiences with bodybuilding than racing a car.
Sure. The more I get to know Lee, I find out that he's a bit of a hypochondriac, Lee, like kind of like Jimmy. That's why they get along so well. They're always going to the emergency room, like for heart attacks, all the time.
No, well, what it is though, you got to go to the emergency room because if I don't go and I'm thinking I'm dying, then I've looked at Dr. Google and it's telling me I'm dying because I got a pain in my stomach and it's telling me I've got pancreatic cancer or bowel cancer or bladder cancer. I got to go to the hospital and they got to run tests and they say, no, Lee, you're okay. Go home. Now I can go home with peace of mind. I'm okay.
I told you, get a bottle of red
peace of mind until the next thing happens.
Exactly.
Get a bottle of red wine. Every time you think you're having a heart attack, you drink a glass of red wine. Give yourself 20 minutes. If you're still having a heart attack, go to the hospital.
Drink it. I hate the taste of alcohol.
No, 20 minutes. If you're still having a heart attack, drink the rest.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be the last we're going to get.
Yeah.
You're right. All right, let's. This was a good show. I had fun. I think a lot of people. The take-home message, guys, after all this fun and stuff like that, is really, it's hard to push yourself day in and day out when you go to that gym. If you could find a good training partner, and it's like Chris said, it doesn't always have to be the same one. You can rotate them around just for variety. It helps change the workouts you're doing. It helps change the intensity. Some guys may train with more weight. Some guys may train with less weight and more repetitions. It's just good to mix it up and have someone who's pushing you and you push them because you know what? It will raise you to a higher level because it's very easy to get complacent and do the same workout all the time.
I found it was always good too, just to have someone there because a lot of time by yourself, you're like, I'll go to the gym today later. No, I won't go later. But if you know you've got to meet someone, you go and train. So
absolutely.
It's always good for that.
As much as you hate, especially when dieting for a show, I hated having to meet people at a certain time. But you know what? I was so happy after the workout was over that I did it because it pushed me through some tough workouts. There were some days I didn't want to train, man. I was tired and I was, carb depleted and stuff. And it just having that other guy there who wasn't dieting, pushing you and helping you with the weights and loading the plates. And they knew we would help. And then when he would diet, I would help him, and that's just the way it goes.
And isn't it weird? Those days sometimes you'd have the best workout ever. The day you felt crap, you didn't want to train, I'd have the best workouts. I'd have those days where tomorrow's legs and I'd psych up for legs. I'd picture what I'm going to do. I'd get to the gym and have the shittiest workout ever. It's like I'd already tired myself out thinking about it. So it's like
best workouts, Lee, are usually when you get to the gym, come in and they say, we're closing in like 35 minutes. Like 35 minutes.
Right. You have to speed through it.
Yeah, you speed through it. You say, that was the greatest workout ever.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've had the same experience, but like at McDonald's when they tell me they're shutting in 5 minutes, I have some of the best meals that I've ever had. And cardio, it's like if I'm at the gym and they say, Lee, you do cardio, I say, yeah, because McDonald's is down the road, and if it shuts at 9, I just finished training at 20 to 9. You've never seen a bodybuilder sprint so fast to get to the door of McDonald's before it shuts.
I was going to the bagel store this morning to get some bagels for the kids. And my wife's like, I'm going to do cardio at home. Why don't you just go to the gym? Get one workout out of the way, which I never work out on Sundays. And I'm like, all right. And so I just stopped there and I did it was a great workout because I wasn't thinking about it. I just went in there and sometimes you overthink these workouts and you do, like Lisa, you psych yourself out.
Well, I even do that with body parts. Even like sometimes say you got to split, like say Monday's chest and Tuesday's back. If I'd go in the gym Monday, didn't feel like doing chest, I'd just pick another body part and have the best workout ever because it wasn't planned. I just go say, okay, I'm going to do legs instead of chest. Have the best leg workout ever.
Yeah. Or you ever train like a body part, and then for some reason you forget you did it and you train it again the next day? I've done that before.
That's just you, idiot.
No, I've done it, and I'm telling you,
How can you train? How can you train hard enough to not remember it the next day?
It was such an ordeal. It might not have been the next day.
Johnny went home,
he had a shower, curled up in the shower, and he felt dirty.
All I'm saying is I've done that, not a lot, but for some reason I feel like actually the body part grew better. Just from now, I'm sure if I did that all the time, it would never happen. But once in a while, throwing in like a weird like duplicating something or doing a body
Yeah, but
part
I
twice
could-
a week, or not training a body part for 2 weeks and then coming back to train a weak body part, you can get accelerated growth doing that.
Yeah, the
sometimes,
Weider
just by talking
confusion
about it.
principle.
Yeah. We'd have had every principle.
He had
invented
he
every
had a
principle.
lock on all those
The
principles.
Weider confusion, that's the what it is. It's the what.
I don't know why at the moment my wife's crawling across the floor here. What are you doing? Have you
I
been
thought that was
drinking
a cat.
tequila?
All right, we got to wrap this up.
She's
Anyway.
been drinking tequila. She's on the floor down here. She's got to get your head out of my lap. I'm still on live. What are you
little
doing?
Isn't it a little early up there to drink tequila on Monday?
It's Monday, but
Yeah.
It's 4:23 in the afternoon. What are you saying?
it's Monday.
It's Monday, and
But
she's
I'm on holidays next week.
she's on holidays next week, but she's drunk
Oh.
already.
I
She
started early.
she started early.
Maybe you'll get a
Week
little,
of
maybe
work.
you'll get lucky today, Lee.
This is so bad.
You'll get
I
a
won't,
little
because when she
early
drinks
action.
tequila, she'll be asleep in 5 minutes. She'll be
Ah.
asleep in 5 minutes. Oh, guess what? Guess who's playing Bill Cosby? Me. Because you're going to be passed out in 10 minutes.
Make sure you use lube. Okay.
Hey, I've noticed when they're passed out, they can't say no. So if it goes to court, she didn't say no.
Oh my God. All right. As we say every week here, I can't believe we're still doing this after what is it,
We're
13
trying.
years, John? We're going on 13 years next week. We'll be 13 years. February
Amazing.
9th.
13 years.
Sir, February 9th, 2009, John and I started RX Muscle, and we did the first heavy muscle radio show.
Yep.
So
We're gonna have an anniversary.
that's right. Next week we'll have an anniversary show.
Is there
All right.
cake? Is there cake?
You make the cake. Mr. G can make the cake.
All right.
All right. We're wrapping this up, guys. As we say every week, guys, with heavy muscle radio,
The truth.
Prefers.
get some sleep, guys.
I'm going to put
See you
Jimmy
next week.
here. Look, Jimmy's going here.